This is a video about cinematography. It is not a video about media play or company advertising. It's just about cinema and presents a few opinions on what makes ITZY's videos so significant to me personally. To me, ITZY is one of the defining groups of the current generation. Many major traits of the fourth gen, like experimental song structure, hybrid video concepts, and extreme emphasis on dance, are qualities that ITZY mastered when they first debuted in 2019. But one of ITZY's most important and, in my opinion, underrated contributions to the generation are their music videos. ITZY's music videos are a staple of their identity, but even more importantly, their videos introduced strong member-specific coding to the fourth generation. Video directors in every industry use cinematic elements to dramatize the personas and aesthetics of an artist, but my focus is on groups who take this a step further and fully dramatize the visual styles and codes of each individual member. I've already done a video on how Blackpink's coding shaped the visual chemistry of the group, but when it comes to the fourth gen, there's no one doing it better than ITZY. Each member gets her own unique sets, props, color palettes, styling, composition, and aesthetics that tell you what themes and images to associate with that member. In my opinion, ITZY has the most efficient cinematic coding out of any fourth generation group. Where Blackpink has member cinema as a bonus to their concepts, member-specific coding is ITZY's concept. ITZY's message is all about individuality and self-identity. Most notably, ITZY's visual coding is majorly reflective of high school media character tropes, specifically teenage girl character archetypes. ITZY's coding is a part of their teen crush concept, and so, each member of ITZY represents a different category of teenage girl. This video has 3 main chapters. First, a look at each member of ITZY cinematically. Second, how these cinematic codes have shifted in each music video. And third, how these codes exist today. I'll be looking at each video only in terms of member coding, not general cinematography. A quick disclaimer. I am very familiar with American television, and as such, a lot of my comparisons come from that industry and its archetypes. Some of the tropes I'm about to reference are outdated or have changed over time. Unfortunately, I'm only vaguely familiar with Korean character archetypes, and that leaves a glaring culture hole in my analysis. Please forgive me, and if you are familiar with K-dramas or other Korean media archetypes, let me know what character types you see in ITZY. As always, this video is purely opinion-based and contains no facts whatsoever. This video is not intended to create, reinforce, or distribute stereotypes about the members of ITZY. This video is not an attempt to make assertions about the members as people, but instead analyze and celebrate their brilliant cinematography and ask a couple questions about the future of their visual brand. This is Chapter 1. Instead of going in age order like I did with Blackpink, I'm going to remix the ITZY members, starting with the member who I believe has the most defined coding. We're going to start with ITZY center Ryujin. Ryujin's coding is so defined that I think it'll help everyone understand how I'm analyzing the group as a whole. In ITZY's early era, Ryujin acts as the punkish rebel, and her style incorporates a cool girl confidence with elements of counterculture and scenes of anti-authority. Ryujin is a perfect center for ITZY's themes and concepts, simultaneously bold and companionable, a complete individual who does her own thing regardless of what people say. She's filmed as 100% attitude and self-presentation, identifiable by her colorful hair dye, choppy jaw-length cut, and striking upper-lid eye makeup. She's a combination of masculine, androgynous, and feminine, tough but chic with a get-it-done attitude. When I first saw her in Dalla Dalla, she instantly reminded me of Ryuko from Kill la Kill. I'm not going to show clips from Kill la Kill for obvious reasons, but there's a similar anti-authoritarian, swerve and I'll cut you attitude with the skunk stripe hair and the red and black color scheme. Ryujin brings a skater girl vibe to her scenes, and she acts as ITZY's primary bad girl. Ryujin has a full range of bright colors in every family, usually very hot colors, including brilliant matte reds, warmer greens, and hot blues. Her clothes emphasize her hips and her shoulders, making her look sleeked, toned, and sassy. She dresses a bit more counterculture than the other members. Many of her most iconic outfits highlight angularity and sharpness, emphasizing the lines of her body, a little reminiscent of the drainpipe look in punk fashion. She wears sporty tank tops, racing stripes, short shorts, and combat boots. Her clothing usually has strong zones of color, clear divisions between accents and black. Her hair is always sporting some sort of dye or colorful extensions, stripes, washes, full colors, sometimes switching her highlights and dyes in the same video. Her makeup draws attention to her upper eyelid, her feisty eyebrows, and her cool girl expressions, and always makes her look like she's judging you just a little. Her blocking and camera work can be just as impulsive as she is. Where the other members are usually centered, Ryujin makes the camera hunt for her. She has a lot of bold, swaggering hallway shots where she gets to work her silhouette, but she also enjoys popping in and out of left field or tilting into an angle. She blindsides the shot by entering like a rocket and upstaging the framing. She interrupts the other members' lines and frames, playfully disrupting the flow and adding unpredictability to the sequence. You never know when she might jump scare you. Ryujin is the rebel, contrasting the status quo at every turn. She's regularly depicted in anti-authoritarian scenes, disrupting oppressive meetings, cutting her hair in a graffitied bathroom, lighting fuses, or mocking security cameras. Ryujin is posed to be literally more colorful than her peers, a standout individual with no interest in conformity. To me, she fully embodies what makes ITZY's concept so fun and unique, and it's no surprise that she became such a killer in the generation. Leah is ITZY's queen bee. Often depicted as the most glamorous member, Leah is surrounded by high-end fashion, luxury furniture, cinema, paintings, and gourmet food. Even in more casual settings, Leah is a starlet. I think color is more important to Leah's coding than most other members. Her palette always feels very collected and specific. Leah has what I would call the Valentine's Day palette. Very round, matte colors with a lot of in-between tones like blue-greens, yellow oranges, and red purples. These colors feel very sweet and posh and preppy, focusing on the core four and avoiding neutrals and black. Leah is one of those idols where every color is her color, but like Jisoo from Blackpink, she looks especially powerful in luxurious jewel tones. Leah also has very clear, consistent coding and reminds me a lot of the high school queen bee or popularity princess archetype from teen TV and movies. What I like about the high school princess trope is that even back in the 90s, it was often paired with emotional intelligence and academic brilliance. These characters are socially savvy, and many of them are excellent students and leaders. And I like that Leah borrows the aspects of this trope that show that fashion, makeup, shopping, and putting effort into your appearance aren't at all conflicting with intelligence, emotional strength, and self-love.
You got into Harvard Law?
What, like it's hard?
Leah's coding drops a lot of the meanness and negativity associated with the queen bee trope and instead has little moments of playfulness and self-confidence. She is a trendsetter, but comes across as friendly and self-satisfied, as well as a little bit of a troublemaker. Unlike Ryujin's punk characters who reject society, many of the queen bee characters are challenged to work within the status quo to help their friends or express themselves, and as such, Leah is usually framed in environments that contrast societal restriction and personal freedom. Her scenes often mismatch luxury with nonconformity. In an expensive dining room full of high-dollar paintings, Leah rejects being wound up like a doll and throws cake at the finery. Enjoying a burger in a $1 million dress, walking on a fancy table in heels, and tossing around expensive clothes for fun. Leah's style emphasizes that being yourself isn't limited to skateboards and cutting your hair in the bathroom, and her appeal adds this feeling of sensibility that makes her look smart and capable. Mafia in the Morning, in particular, presents her as a charismatic leader. I love the way this archetype is dressed, and Leah's outfits feel the most consistent in the group shots. Where the other members will wear shorts or pants, Leah usually wears these fully feminine skirts and flirty tops, and sometimes these sleek, flattering dresses that emphasize her height and her long hair. Her outfits really pop your attention to her skirts and her neck, as well as her hair and her eyes. Her hair is always long and naturally colored, and she really talks to the camera with her hair. Leah is the pink Power Ranger of ITZY, and her outfits regularly incorporate this gorgeous shade of hot pink. Leah and Chaeryeong both have their plaid moments, but I find that Leah leans more into the chic retro plaid that people attribute to movies like Clueless. The queen bee trope emphasizes social intelligence, which I definitely see in Leah's coding. The camera frames her as someone totally adjusted to her own world. She leads the camera around the set or brings it into steadiness with her presence. Her compositions make her the center of the universe. Leah shows the most enjoyable sides of this archetype, bubbly girliness with social satisfaction and a hint of good-natured rebellion. Overall, her appeal is very sweet and savvy, and she has my favorite color palette out of the whole group. Yeji is the member of stature and maturity. In this teen crush group, Yeji is the oldest member, and the directors allow her to feel the full range of her maturity. ITZY videos rarely try to make Yeji feel younger. Yeji feels targeted towards girls aged 17 and up. Yeji is the mother cat of ITZY. She is the group's Mrs. Robinson, a feminine prowler type. She's the Cruella cool girl. I also find that Yeji is the least suited to more childlike or juvenile concepts, though this has a lot to do with her angular face shape and her piercing gaze. Her color palette has fewer pastels and punched-up teenage colors. Instead, Yeji has more natural, earthy colors and stylish neutrals, powerful golds and bronze patterned with blacks and whites, jungle cat colors. Yeji has a lot of animal references in her image, especially felines. Cat ears, cat nails, little buns that look like animal ears, shaggy feather coats, and big fluffy jackets. Her shoulders are squared up and emphasized. Her textures include cheetah print and long-haired fur. Animal print is very often associated with self-asserting, dominant female characters. Yeji's image splits between a buff, imposing silhouette that bolsters her shoulders and back, and a sleek, stealthy look used for dance sequences and group shots. Yeji will show up to a solo shot looking big and burly, and then will throw off her padding to reveal her precise, angular silhouettes. Compositionally, Yeji is a structure darling. Heavy center frame, very straight profiles and body lines. She's less likely to bend or be thrown around the frame. She's often framed in these gorgeous hallway shots that emphasize her power and dominion. Strong linear dimensions and cavernous clutter or crowds create these pockets of strength for Yeji. Yeji's color grading emphasizes strong whites and blacks, and her lighting is heavy on contrast and white highlights. These values make her bold lines even stronger. The angles of her face are sharp enough to cut glass. Yeji is the member who partakes the least in the expectations of the world around her. Where Ryujin and Leah are aware of their surroundings and deliberately interrupt them, Yeji is often aloof to naysayers and gawkers. She's above it all, unflappable and unaffected by the status quo. Her scenes display a different maturity. She neither needs to destroy the world around her nor justify it. She's aware that people are looking at her, but she doesn't care. It doesn't matter. She's filmed as if she feels no need to operate within the social standards of others. This doesn't make her antisocial compared to her members, but it's Yeji's world, and we're all living in it. Chaeryeong is presented as the down-to-earth girl next door type, and her cinema is aware of the quieter, more sensitive girls in ITZY's fanbase. Friendly and warm, she was originally shot as the softest member of ITZY. She doesn't pose any of the sharpness or combativeness of the other members. Rather than trying to stick out or disrupt the flow, Chaeryeong matches the energy of those around her. She's a team player even as she's her own person. She's the girl with long sleeves and pants, plaid sweaters, very little glitter or flash, cute but comfy hairstyles with clips and ponytails. Right off the bat, you can tell Chaeryeong has a defining color, red. Not Ryujin's piercing bottle red, but a dark, slightly more neutral red. Her colors go all over the rainbow, but tend to stay on the quieter side as opposed to the blinding neons or bold neutrals. Her scenes are big on diffused highlights, softening her face and hair and making her appear innocent and charming. Traditionally, Chaeryeong is all warm smiles and laughter, sometimes avoiding direct eye contact with the camera in favor of letting her dancing do the talking. Some of her shots have a nervous energy. She's more comfortable at home or surrounded by friends rather than standing up to authority or plopped in the middle of a rager. In the early ITZY eras, Chaeryeong goes on something of a character journey. She starts out as the homebody of the group. While not traditionally shy, she is unaware of the way people see and admire her, and hides when she doesn't want to be seen. She has everyone over to play with the dog, and meets up with friends in an isolated parking lot, but she also runs from unwanted attention and is shown to be occasionally awkward about having everyone's eyes on her. Chaeryeong embodies this down-to-earth, timid ITZY character, especially in Wannabe. Her scenes show a quiet, studious character who keeps her head down. The hallway shots that usually empower other ITZY girls are constraining and dominating, looming over Chaeryeong's head and forcing her to appear small and isolated. When she senses someone watching her, she takes off running. Flying drones hunt her down as she runs through an endless spread of clothing racks, all characteristics covered up by plastic. Finally, she learns to stand her ground, and her self-assertion knocks away the drones. Her head is no longer held beneath the eyeline of the shot, allowing her to stand tall. In these early days, the directors did a wonderful job of making her seem softer and more sensitive without her feeling diminutive or ill-fitting of ITZY's vibrant, powerful concepts and music. A lot of this can be attributed to Chaeryeong's incredible dancing. It's simply impossible to make her seem less than confident in any choreography. After Not Shy, her cinema gets bolder, using that early sensitivity to depict her as self-aware and occasionally sly. But what I like best about Chaeryeong's scenes are that they represent a different kind of girl in ITZY's world. Self-love and completeness are found in introversion just as much as extroversion. While we readily praise girls who don't give a damn and keep on keeping on when everyone is watching, there's strength and nobility in turning away unwanted attention and enjoying your privacy. The idea that introverted girls just haven't come out of their shells and proven their independence by doing the things extroverts do is a sad byproduct of certain media cycles. Take off your glasses and let your hair down, and you too can stop being held back by society and become a party animal is not what Chaeryeong represents. Being yourself can include being happy by yourself or happy with your friends at your level of comfort. In the world of ITZY cinematography, Yuna is the teenage hero archetype. On the one side, a highly skilled, uber-competent girl who handles high-stress situations like a pro, and on the other, juggling everyday teenage struggles with equal attention and attitude. Basically, she's ITZY's very own Kim Possible. As the maknae, Yuna definitely has the youngest energy in the group, and is often partnered with fun, cute scenes of her doing daily activities without a care what others might think. Her color palette is a youthful mix of neons and pastels, bright candy colors, purples, pinks, blues, yellows. Yuna's scenes are colored and lit for energy and freshness, drumming up the flushed highlights and dabbling the shadows in dark pink. Yuna is for the teenage girl who feels like a quirky protagonist in a high school TV show. She has elements of the ingenue or the new girl in town, with her bright-eyed makeup and fresh, confident style. She's like a pop star who just stepped into someone's boring status quo and doesn't understand why everyone doesn't live as brightly as she does. To pull off this combination of regular and extraordinary, Yuna is given a unique blend of pop star and pedestrian elements. Her hair is long, exclusively done in natural colors like black, brunette, blonde, and the occasional ombre of darker and lighter browns. Her clothes are sporty, cutesy, and sometimes completely mundane. In most of her outfits, there are pieces that can be translated to the average girl's closet, even if Yuna owns the luxury version while you own the mall brand. Leather jackets, fishnets, Doc Martens, flip-flops, sporty tanks, baggy pants, band shirts, t-shirts and overalls, oversized shirts with jean shorts. Her usual look is long sleeves over shorts with boots that end below the knees, and either a choker or a collar that emphasizes her neck. This is a very teenagerish look, especially with big earrings and the shirt tucked in under a belt. I can't think of a single person I went to high school with who didn't insist on some form of the I have to wear shorts but I refuse to show my arms look. Yuna gets the playful, chunky outfits that pop with color. She has an abundance of jewelry and accessories, like cute hair clips, colorful earrings, sunglasses, and tons of chokers. Her overall appeal is a combination of mundane teenage girl by day and international pop star by night. The only thing that holds her back is caving to the restrictions of other people's expectations. Once she shirks the rigid confines of the world around her and embraces herself, she's portrayed as unstoppable. She's the young model with scary good skills, but she also kicks off her shoes and smiles at the audience. Bubbly and bright are two very good words to describe the way Yuna is filmed, a collage of carefree moments and playful banter between herself and the camera. Her scenes have good faith fondness for the things teenage girls are stereotyped for: shopping, hugging stuffed animals, tossing her hair, dancing around the apartment, being a little bratty. While TV and movies may sometimes treat these as negative, vapid, and shallow, Yuna makes them fun and presents them as a totally normal part of being a teen. Most importantly, Yuna is a combination of everyday and extraordinary circumstances. If it seems like the other members are given more side scenes than Yuna, it's because starring in ITZY's dance sequences is an essential part of her persona. Yuna's mundane teenage girl activities are partnered with her scenes as an idol of the K-pop girl group ITZY. It's the combination of being an idol in ITZY and being a girl in her apartment that makes her charming. Like Kim Possible or Sailor Moon, Yuna has to save the world tonight and take her math test tomorrow. This is Chapter 2. We just talked a lot about how their codes and cinema styles were founded, but now I want to take a look at how these codes have been altered, or in some cases, destroyed. I think you could say that Dalla Dalla is the purest ITZY era, since the earliest eras are very loyal to the codes established during their debut. The group shots look like video game character lineups, and each member is so defined in her own space, yet perfectly complementary. These videos master that image of a friend group of pop stars. Early ITZY videos are like these jars full of colorful marbles all swirled together, these clear pops of personality in one aesthetic collage. ITZY's debut image was so well defined and so well incorporated that it launched the group to the front of the generational scene, and I think it set a precedent for 4th gen debuts since. By revitalizing the individuality concept, I think ITZY lit a fire under the generation to really push the way a group is coded, both in their message and in their image. However, after the first 3 eras, there was this common criticism that ITZY's concept was too stagnant and that the self-love theme was played out, and that ITZY's eras didn't really have any strong thematic differences. So after the first 3 eras, ITZY enters their costume party years. Not Shy is a very sharp departure from the previous 3 eras. This video is an outlaw concept set in the desert with elements of a pseudo-Wild West. Not Shy remains, to me, one of ITZY's more unspectacular eras. ITZY's debut eras had 2 major visual themes: the colorful, quirky, collage-like aesthetics, and the individuality of each member within a scenario. Not Shy tries the first by haphazardly slapping chunky bits of color on top of a cowboy set piece, but that second, and in my opinion more important visual theme, isn't here at all. Individual perspectives within a scenario was the core of ITZY's visual style, and the colorfulness was just how it manifested during their first 3 eras. Introducing a brand new visual concept could have been an opportunity to experiment with ITZY's core in a new genre. I would have greatly preferred seeing the perspectives of 5 different types of outlaws than this car chase. It's not a perfect recasting because the established archetypes were more about teenage girls, but having defined characters for the members would have eased the concept switch while playing at ITZY's themes of solid individual aesthetics and bold announcements of the self. This whole outlaw concept just kind of feels like it's there for shock value, and if you really want to surprise people, you can assign unexpected codes to unexpected members. Make Leah a one-eyed bandit, make Yeji a freedom fighter, make Chaeryeong a serial killer. This outlaw concept kind of goes nowhere because the members have almost nothing to do in the video. I think it was a huge mistake filling most of the video with this uninspired car chase. The members do not do well when crammed into a tiny car where you can only see 1 or 2 of them, and the whole video suffers because of it. There's nothing about the members that commits to the concept switch, so it comes off as half-hearted. It's like the production team caved to the demands for a concept switch and then got scared and went, oh shit, we gotta water it down or people will think we went too far. The point of ITZY should be going too far and enjoying it no matter what people say. Also, there are no side scenes, and this could be fine in theory, but because there's no place to personify the members within the concept, which again is ITZY's whole entire thing, it's all squeezed into the clothing and leaves the members looking very off-brand. For example, this outfit feels very not like Leah. Like the mini ponytail and the asymmetrical accessories and the sort of silly palette look very juvenile on her. I don't think even Yuna would wear something this young, and on Leah, whose whole look is preppy and elegant, it becomes funny. Not in a good way. This is not an outlaw ITZY, it's Yeehaw Claire's. There are enjoyable things about Not Shy, but this video feels like the director gave them a weird costume swap, tried to futz the visuals without considering the concept, and then went back to business as usual.
I'm the mafia, yeah, we do it like a mafia.
Mafia in the Morning gets it right. This video works. It switches the concept and still feels like ITZY because it codes each girl as a solid individual within the concept scenario. Each member of ITZY is acting as a different mafioso archetype. Leah is the wealthy and charismatic leader, Ryujin is the double agent, Chaeryeong is the femme fatale daughter of the boss, Yeji is the infiltrator, and Yuna is the eclectic weapons master. The quirks of each member's persona translate to their respective characters. Yeji wears bold animal textures as she approaches her mark, Ryujin's hair goes from blonde to black and back again, punkish skunk streaks jumping to purple accents as she switches from disguise to disguise. Leah is dressed like an expensive painting, or wrapped in molten gold as she commands her numbers from the weapons room. Chaeryeong feels every bit the boss's daughter, with her demure pout and brilliant red color scheme in a study full of expensive books. Her softer, more academic silhouettes and patterns really stand out in this video, and I love when ITZY's bold, bombastic videos make a space for quieter girls, bookish girls, and they're still just as badass and confident as the others. On the opposite end, Yuna is a trigger-happy delight. In the lighting of this video, her colored shadows and energetic highlights and fills are replaced with a more moody, gossamer look, bringing out colors like olive, tawny, gray, black, and white. I love how these classic Yeji colors are incorporated into Yuna's look, as if she's Yeji's protege with her own flair and danger. Mafia in the Morning melds classic ITZY elements with dark color schemes and edgy set pieces, and it is a smashing success as a costume concept.
I'm getting loco.
Loco feels like an attempt to return to debut. Leah and Ryujin feel very on type in this music video. Ryujin is shot with prettied up destruction tools like trucks and lighters and fuses, and her aggressive blacks and reds have been sweetened with blues and pinks. Her makeup and styling are loud and cheerful, sunshine blue eyeshadow and clothes in all colors of the rainbow. She fits the concept shift really well. Love has come and softened her sharp edges. Leah's scenes are classic Leah coding in perfect Leah colors, smashing her lipstick, throwing her clothes, holding a fashion show in her walk-in closet. These are traditional Leah images. When the video isn't overdressing her, Yuna's scenes are actually very enjoyable. She's armed with a chainsaw and ripped leggings. Her bedroom is a padded cell decorated with stolen stop signs and a giant fluffy bunny. These are hallmarks of the cutesy, brooding teenage brat aesthetic, that beheaded Barbie dolls kind of style. On the other hand, Chaeryeong and Yeji fall flat. I like the idea here. Chaeryeong in Loco screams noise when her coding has always whispered quiet. She sits on a heavy-duty excavator, she throws around flyers at a construction site, and she seeks out the flashing cameras. Her outfits are bold and flirty. The hot pink feather mini dress, the choker dripping in diamonds, the carnival blue skirt with what looks like baby doll heads on it, I don't really know. These are very loud moments for her, but instead of the clever combo from Mafia between loud and quiet, Loco tosses out all of her quieter aspects, and it feels kind of inorganic. Yeji also feels forced. She has her cat costumes, but she's done up in a lot of bright, punk romance colors. Her hair is smeared with pink, and she's wearing chunky, mixed patterns. This feels like an adult woman dressing up as a middle schooler, and I lose the point of her in this concept. Loco honestly feels like a redux of Dalla Dalla, a lot of chaotic cutting and constant color smashes, but the video doesn't fully define how each girl acts individually in a romance concept. I see how ITZY as a whole look when they're crazy in love, but I don't see the individual perspectives.
Stickers on. 하나 둘 ready get set go.
Hoo boy. Somehow, even with the hybrid concept and the bright colors and the I'm a weirdo and proud bravado, Sneakers is the least ITZY that ITZY has ever felt. If you took everything ITZY and blended it into a slurry and poured it into a factory mold and shot it full of preservatives, you would get something like Sneakers. The royalty concept is deeply underdeveloped. Maybe this is just me, but I would have preferred an ITZY princess take on the Mafia concept, where each member is playing a different royalty archetype. Instead, we get these half scenes of the girls being kind of disenchanted with their duties as royals. I can see where the girls should feel like different characters, but the video lacks a serious sense of self, and the side scenes don't display why ITZY as royals are so desperate to put their sneakers on. And then, halfway through, the video hiccups and coughs out a military dance party inside of an Air Force headquarters. Yeah, the late 80s gossamer lighting and the members goofing around do not hold visual weight. The girls just look like they're intruding on someone else's set, and their scene activities feel slapped on. Oh, right, Chaeryeong sat at a desk with a pencil in Wannabe. Put her at the desk. Give her a pencil. When you look at Sneakers as a whole, would Yuna really feel that much more different in this scene than Chaeryeong? Would Leah feel that much more different than Yeji here? Is there any moment in Sneakers where you couldn't just swap one member out for another? If you told an AI to make an ITZY video, this is probably what it would look like. The vague, quirky bolts in separate spaces that 5 individuals should occupy, but no true understanding of what makes ITZY members stand out. Sneakers' greatest failure is that it makes the girls of ITZY interchangeable, which in ITZY terms is to wholly unmake the group. A quick tangent for Boys Like You. Why am I including this when it's not a Korean lead single? Because as a music video, Boys Like You does everything right. This is a hilarious reverse concept where the members of ITZY are forced to realize that this guy sees them all as interchangeable. That is genius and does what Sneakers accidentally did on purpose, and it's funny. In other ITZY videos, the individual scenes are very sacred to their respective members, but here we see them forcibly intruding on each other's scenes and trying to sabotage each other. It is the complete opposite of everything ITZY stands for, and frankly, I'm glad to see it. And yeah, it's a high school concept, but I don't feel like the members are being forcibly aged up or down. As a pre-release, it gets the same cushion as Ice Cream by Blackpink, a little space to do something off-brand, and it's very smart. Thank you.
Anything's right.
And finally, Cheshire. The funny thing about Cheshire is that it is arguably ITZY's least code-heavy video. Due to the constant cameos and line swaps, most of the scenes in Cheshire are group scenes, which is unusual for ITZY and much more typical of TWICE. ITZY built their visual brand on 5 very separate individual perspectives, but the members in Cheshire are all over each other. The direction seems more focused on flashy editing between the different set pieces rather than one cohesive aesthetic. What do a glitching office building, a snowy forest, and a game show set have in common? For the concept of Cheshire, this actually makes a lot of sense. Trickery, indecision, and the illogic of blind enjoyment are key themes of the lyrics and visuals, and while I would accept it from Red Velvet in a heartbeat, it's very unusual on ITZY because we're so used to their defined character play. Cheshire does not feel like an ITZY video is expected to feel because their core cinematic theme is removed. There are maybe 2 sets that belong to a specific member, but no truly select color scheme or styling. Many scenes are entirely computer generated, and the members are shot with the same colors, lighting, camera work, and framing. The camera shows off the optical illusions and the cool effects of the sequencing, but Cheshire deliberately stays quiet when it comes to saying something about its members. The typical ITZY video would have each member doing her own brand of trickery in her own mini-maze. But here, the members are almost synonymous. They regularly walk through each other's moments, they dress much more in sync, even the more chaotically colored group scenes are so thoroughly mixed in patterns, palettes, and styles that it makes them cohesive. Mafia, Loco, even Sneakers to some extent put down foundation towards the 5 individuals we know, but here there's none of that. It's almost like Not Shy, but even Not Shy had a theme of self-confidence and self-love that we associate with ITZY's brand. This is ITZY as we've never seen them. It's an interesting decision, and I wonder if it was supposed to test ITZY's strength when not doing what ITZY was branded to do. Can ITZY successfully pull off an era that isn't about individuals? Cheshire may be a toe in the water toward a more massive shift in ITZY's branding. This is Chapter 3. Where Blackpink went from 4 separate members over many comebacks to a unified family of mixed codes and lovesick girls, ITZY has muddied codes before and then turned around and gone back to them. Not Shy was that first break from their coding, but afterwards, Mafia and Loco drew very heavily on the members' traditional codes. ITZY doesn't really have Blackpink's clean break, where 4 years of coding led up to a unity theme. But it's also clear that ITZY has turned away from the solidity of those traditional eras. Which begs the question, is ITZY putting away the It's Me theme of their cinematography? On the one hand, it would totally invert the group as we know them and send them into a new age of cinematography. To go on carving out the same codes for infinity only stays fresh if you have as few comebacks as Blackpink, so this could bring fresh blood to ITZY's plate. But on the other hand, a shift in this direction would mean ITZY doing what almost every other girl group already does, defined costume concepts where the members feel more synonymous. Let's be clear. ITZY is a known, celebrated, and well-selling girl group, but they have an interesting choice in front of them. In February of 2023, ITZY will reach their 4th year as a group, and face the dreaded 4th year fever, where girl groups seem to either explode and revitalize or fall out of their weight class. In the past year, ITZY has seemingly attempted to sync up their fanbase expectations with their GP reception, and whether we're talking music, choreography, concepts, or cinematography, I think most people have picked up on the indecisive direction of ITZY's last few eras. Now, it feels like ITZY is arriving fast at the decision point of their future. Whether or not ITZY will be financially successful is less the question than whether or not they'll remain impactful and relevant in the current era of K-pop. And the answer to that question will most likely come down to identity and group direction. A full return to their debut codes and concepts risks a stale reception and the appearance of instability, whereas a total rejection of their core theme risks the alienation of their fanbase. ITZY has a very interesting year ahead of them, but because I don't think they're in any financial danger, I think these next few eras will be exciting. With over 1 million albums sold off their Sneakers comeback and over 500,000 already sold from Cheshire, I highly doubt ITZY is going anywhere. But whether the ITZY we see next will look like Dalla Dalla, Cheshire, or something altogether different, that only JYP knows. And me. Because I see the future.